I'm Jael.
I'm Tony.
It might get cancelled, and this is Weekly Controversies. Welcome to episode 8 of the Weekly Controversies. Today's episode, we are going to be touching on the Elimination Chamber that is happening this Saturday in Perth, Australia. And we're going to be getting into the matches, giving our previews, our predictions, and then afterwards, we're going to get into our favorite Elimination Chamber moments and probably favorite Elimination Chamber matches. But before we get into all that, I want to actually hand it over here to Tony because Tony has a very special announcement.
I do. So, Weekly Controversies is known for a dynamic duo, but that duo is becoming a trio because after last night I had a chat with Martin and FiveMarks, and he agreed that this third person would be a perfect fit for the show. So going forward, there'll be 3 hosts, and I'd like to welcome the third host. That is the one and only Mr. Robert Gold.
Thanks very much for having me as a host.
Yay! Welcome to the team, Rob.
Welcome to the team, Rob.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. It's always a pleasure to be on this, and as I say, going forward as a host, cannot wait.
Oh, we are absolutely buzzing to have you here, Rob, every single week. And when I was even talking to Tony about it, I was like, there's no one better person to have it, with, because you are literally there on every episode. You're into everything that we have to do with Weekly Controversies, so we can't wait for you to hopefully come on every single week when you can and give us your wrestling takes and your opinions. I know I'm too much on the old football mind. Sorry about that. But so lads, just want to get into the Elimination Chamber.
I'd say so.
For those that are wondering, because Jamie was being so excited about our new host, we have 2 guest nominees tonight. We have a returning guest, Mr. Aaron, and this week he's finally made it on. We are joined by Mark, 2 lads that we became friends with at a wrestling party in London, of all places.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pleasure to come back on, guys. I really enjoyed it a couple of weeks ago, and it's nice to get a proper host in Rob as well this week.
Appreciate that, Aaron. Appreciate that.
A proper host?
And that's why we call it.
I just want to get cheap heat.
I'm done. I'm signing off. You can have these Weekly Controversies. I am finished. See these notes? Gone. I'm finished.
You just had to upset the one that was on the tism, didn't you?
I'm only joking, lads. I'm buzzing to come back on. It's nice to have a fellow wrestling guru and Scotsman on to, I don't know, back my corner. I don't know.
Well, having listened to your podcast a couple of weeks ago, mate, the controversial opinions do kind of run straight out of you. Don't know if we'll be back in your corner, but delighted to be here anyway. Yeah, it was a pleasure meeting you guys a few weeks back, and delighted to be on. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, great to have you even here, Mark. But I actually wanted to ask you, because we said it, Darren, a few weeks ago, what was your experience like for you in that party? Because we all thought it was great, and then we just wanted to get your take on it as well.
It was unbelievable. I think I heard Aaron saying as well, so it was probably the first thing that we've done. It was quite as big as that. Quite a huge number of people there. Everyone there to watch wrestling, and that just doesn't really happen very often. So it felt really cool to be surrounded by people that, mostly were in good moods. Seeing the guys from Cultaholic were there, a few other famous faces, and we also I don't know if Aaron mentioned, we bumped into our man Fred Ottman in our hotel lobby as well, which is quite cool. So we had a
Should have been the hotel we were staying in, but people were slow at giving money to people.
Oh man, it was a great time. Yeah, it was good. The wrestling show was good. The company was good. We met you guys, and hey, that could have been a shit show, but that was still worth it. But no, I had a great time. Probably going to book up to do the ones coming up as well.
Yeah, sure. Hooked on Wrestling, I think, are doing I don't know if it's a morning kind of party.
They're doing a brunch party for the chamber.
So I don't know, like that'd be weird to me. It's
What
already
the
weird
hell?
enough that we have to wake up at like 8:30 in the morning to watch a show that's gonna be on at 9. Because like I'll be literally probably on Just Eat, going and ordering a McMuffin meal while I'm waiting on the wrestling to come on. It's gonna be the weirdest thing ever. Normally it's like I have the cans and all on a 1 a.m. show. It's gonna be at 9 a.m. So it's gonna be weird for all of us. But I think we're gonna be doing something on Saturday for it, Tony, aren't we? We're gonna be watching the
Yeah, we're going to be
Elimination
trying to do a
Chamber.
watch along via Twitch if it works for us.
Yeah, we're gonna try and get that sorted, and we'll probably put on a
I'm waiting to
Twitch.
hear back off Mr.
Yeah.
FiveMarks myself to see how we can work that.
Yeah, no, if we can do it, it'd be great. If we can't, then we'll still be watching anyway. But right, let's get into the Elimination Chamber that's happening this Saturday. And I actually wanted to get user takes on another pay-per-view or PLE that only has like 4 matches, because we've seen that as well with the Royal Rumble, and we're having it again with a stadium show like the Elimination Chamber that's happening in Australia. I want to kind of give user take on it. Like, why is Triple H like kind of having so many low matches?
I think by the looks of things, it looks as if he wants to have sort of quality over quantity, and I think that's, I mean, you look back at even yesteryear matches where, you might have only had 5 or 6 matches a show, but most of them were sort of around about 15 to 20 minutes each longer, compared to maybe sort of 8 matches with maybe 5 to 6 minute matches, and you would rather have, to me, to tell a story, the longer match rather than a shorter match. That's my opinion on it. But as I say, who knows? I mean, maybe there's going to be 1 or 2 matches thrown in, to make up for only having 4 matches, because we know ourselves, the Elimination Chamber matches themselves take a good while to do.
Yeah,
Like,
and average like
I
a
would have
40-minute
liked
match.
actually the IC Championship to be like this Saturday instead of it being on
couldn't-
Monday.
He couldn't go to Australia. That was the problem.
Yeah, Gunther can't travel outside the States because he's trying to get his visa approved.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one, because I think there's going to be a few more like segments in the show that haven't been advertised. So I still think they're going to do something with Bronson Reed. I think the reason he's not in the chamber match is because his wife's having a kid or something like that, or something. But I think he's going to make an appearance. I think there's going to be a wee segment for him. There's obviously going to be stuff with Cody and Seth and Grayson Waller. So something's going to happen there. That's going to be a 20-minute segment or whatever. So that's going to pad it out. So it's going to feel more like a episode of Raw or SmackDown, just with a couple of chamber matches, really.
Yeah, no, it definitely will. I just thought, like, when I saw 4 matches, I was like, for the stadium show, they could have done more. I get where Rumbles are normally over an hour anyway. They build them on themselves. But chamber matches, I've always known for being about probably 40 minutes, 45. And for it to be 2, that's only about an hour and a half. And you really look at a wrestling shows nowadays average between like 3 hours to 4 hours. So I kind of just didn't get that. But as what Rob said, it's the quality over quantity. You will drag it out. You will tell stories amongst these matches too. And yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be a good show, because even though the hype isn't really there as probably what the Royal Rumble is and then what, WrestleMania is going to be, I'd say it'll probably be one of them surprise shows. One of them under the radar shows we'll probably look at in the end of the year going, like, that was a great show, because of what they could do.
Yeah, and I think too, with the Elimination Chamber this year, it seems, I don't know, something about it just seems very rushed, because they didn't even have their matches really and all done until literally Raw, sort of thing, but yeah.
So that, do we know why there wasn't matches announced? Because they've been riddled with injuries, and they've been in the news for the wrong and the right reasons as well over the last couple of weeks. So I imagine Seth was meant to be on that show. They're still technically scheduled to be on the show, but not in a wrestling capacity. But I assume he was meant to be on in a wrestling capacity, as was Punk, as was Lesnar. That was the 5th match that was pulled, Lesnar and Dom, which has been confirmed and then pulled because of Lesnar being accused. So 4 matches, yes, but we know to be like impromptu matches, so we could get 2 more matches thrown in there. Because I'm sure the Australian stars are going to want to showcase, so.
Yeah, no, we could, absolutely. But sure, we might as well get into the actual first match of the Elimination Chamber PLE. And the first match I have down here is the Judgment Day of Damian Priest and Finn Balor versus the new tag team of the New Catch Republic, which is Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Now, I wanted to get you our kind of name on the new name of the tag team of Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Do you like it?
I don't like it.
Can you say it again? British strong style.
It's called the New Catch Republic.
Yeah, I don't like it.
The New Catch Republic. Oh,
yeah, they're called the New Catch Republic.
I'm just on a website here. It says it's British strong style. Is that what they were before?
Yeah, they were British strong style before, and I thought they were going to be British strong style again, but apparently not.
I think. I mean, my honest answer, I think it doesn't really matter. This is the problem of having like one tag team belt is you know that they're not going to win, right? And they're hot because they're new and Pete Dunne's Pete Dunne again. But you just think in a couple months' time that everyone's going to forget about them. So I really feel they got to split the tag team belts up again and go back to brand titles. Just try and build up that tag team division again. But a name like that is just not going to stick, I'm afraid.
No. And you think though the amount of new names now they have with like even the Final Testament with the new Karen Cross stable and stuff like they're trying to actually get in these new tag teams and new stables that are going on. And I just feel like if it gets too crowded and too overloaded of factions and teams, you're gonna get lost on like who you'd like to support because you've got Imperium, you've got DIY, you've got the New Day because they're still around doing things. You've now got the New Catch Republic, Judgment. You've got so many, and I get that whole point of if you keep the belts as one, it's gonna be messy because all these people deserve all opportunities, deserve to be champion, but you're not gonna get them all, basically pushed if you're just gonna keep the two belts as one. You do have to split them, but so that's what I was gonna say here now. Like you look even to WrestleMania, and from what I look at anyways, they're building towards possibly R-Truth and The Miz versus the Judgment Day at WrestleMania. Like, R-Truth being a champion in 2024, I guess he's entertaining, but here's a controversial probably pick. I wouldn't have had anywhere near the tag team championships. He's a comedy act at best. He should not win a championship. I don't care if it's a story.
Cody, he's main event of WrestleMania. Yeah.
What?
So is Cody, and he's main event the Mania night too.
No, but I'm sorry, but I get R-Truth is funny, but why be champion? Like what, for the sake of the story? Oh, it's a good feel moment, and the Miz. Listen, the Miz can lose as many times, and I still feel like he doesn't look stupid. He's putting people over, and I get that. But like R-Truth going into a tag team title match at WrestleMania at his age.
See, that's why if they had two belts, like I think like you always look at like the way I look at it, SmackDown's like the workhorse. So if they had like the SmackDown tag team belts, that's where you have like DIY versus Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate. You have like good quality matches, and then Raw can be your sort of gimmick tag team, type champions, large than life characters. That's the way I would do it. I agree with you. If you're having one tag team champion, having R-Truth and The Miz is a bit meh, just because it's not very believable. It reminds me a little bit to. Remember the storyline they did like a few years ago with Heath Slater and Rhino? When Slater
I remember that.
Was unemployed. I think it was 2016. And then all of a sudden, because he needed to get his job back, they become tag team champions. And it's like, yeah, it was all right for 2 minutes. And then as soon as they got the belt, they're thinking, these guys, no way should they be champions. It's just a case of enjoying the journey as soon as they get to the top. I also don't think R-Truth is that funny. I loved his video. I loved his video for his live, love, laugh thing. But then it's just too much in your face. Small doses, fine. But just every week. Maybe it's because I'm going to be 29 soon. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's not even got to do with age, though, Aaron, though, as well. Because I get that point. Yeah, he's a funny actor and everything. And there's some moments where you go, it's quite funny what he does. But not worthy of him being in a title match at WrestleMania. Put him in with JD in a fucking Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal the night before. If they could do it with a Red Hot LA Night last year, they could do it with that. Because in a way, that's red hot. They could still have that moment. R-Truth can win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal because it's meaningless anyway. You don't get anything other than a big fuck-off statue with Andre the Giant on the top of it. And it's sad because I look at prime NXT and I look at when there was the revival, you had DIY and the fucking matches they had, and we know like how good Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are as individuals, but as a tag team, the matches they had with like the revival with AOP were just some of the best tag team matches I've ever seen in my life. And for them to not even have a build up to Mania and you've already had that opportunity for the tag titles, it's like, oh, come on, you have a fucking unbelievable tag team there and an unbelievable run, and you're wasting that away for what? R2 to keep a title for what, 3 weeks? It just doesn't make sense.
You make a good point, Jamie. Sorry, as I just reappear whilst my flatmate turned my Wi-Fi
That's how we
off.
walk here. We just
in
jump
the
in
middle.
any minute. That's how we do.
Fucking bitch!
But yeah, one of the points I was going to come back to, what you mentioned there, the issue that Triple H has is that he hasn't booked any hot tag teams to take that spot. And if you think back to Aaron goes all the way back to the Heath Slater and Rhino tag team, I'd take it further back and think about what about Miz and Mizdow and how hot the crowd was for that. It's something that you just got to pay off, and then a heel tag team could easily be built to take it from there. I think that's probably what you got to do with it. It will pop the crowd. Oddly, he's getting huge reactions, which
He is over as fuck at the moment.
possibly
the
the
pops he's
most
getting
over.
is unbelievable.
Is anyone as over as R-Truth at the moment? He's
No,
probably
and I
the
wouldn't mind.
only. He's probably the only
Controversial
thing
take.
keeping the Judgment Day going.
Controversial take. R2 got a bigger pop than Punk in Chicago at Survivor Series. Fact.
I'd say Fagan would probably say no because he was there and he said that his ears literally popped when CM Punk fucking came out. So I wouldn't say that's true because he was someone that was actually at the arena when he came out. So I just don't get it. I do, because like I get the whole point. Like he hasn't built any red hot tag teams, but that's his own fault. He had time to do it. He's had time, and here's what I actually find even gas though. He's had time with R-Truth since November, and it's now February. He could have easily done that with any other tag team, and he hasn't. He's chose R-Truth to be in the Judgment Day and all this shit. You know, it's not like he hasn't got time. He's had time, he's had patience, but he clearly wants to go down that R-Truth route because what the fans love it. I think if you would have done that with any other tag team who are big baby faces, like I think DIY would be in the main roster, you can easily make them a very popular tag team. Like, look what they did in NXT. Yeah. Like, everybody loved DIY. Everybody, like, they were probably one of the most selling shorts in NXT in that period. Now, before Tommaso Ciampa turned on Gargano. You know, I just don't make head or tail of it. You know, it just doesn't make sense.
You're saying because the fans love it. But those same fans are the reasons Daniel Bryan won at WrestleMania 30. Those fans are the reason that Cody Rhodes ruined my main event. So he's giving the fans what they want. That's what Triple H said he would do, and that's what he's doing. We'd have been bitching and moaning if the fans weren't getting what they wanted.
The problem the problem is actually not R-Truth in this. It's the Miz. The Miz is a face is a bit wank, and also he loses all the time. I don't know. I just the awesome truth around. It's mad that they were the top heels in 2011. When this was going on, they were the top heels. They were fighting against the Rock and Cena, weren't they, in Survivor Series? They were the top heels. Remember the segment they had where they were like got arrested for like breaking up the Royal Rumble? Not Royal Rumble, the
Hell in a Cell, wasn't it?
Yeah, against Del Rio, CM Punk and Cena.
So I think the Miz is the problem, but I think going back to Elimination Chamber, I'm guessing the Judgment Day win, but it'd be really nice if R-Truth cost him the title, wouldn't it? It'd be nice. And
I assume we're all saying Judgment Day because it doesn't make sense for them to drop the belt a month before Mania.
Yeah.
Unless what they call Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate win, and then R-Truth comes out, and then for whatever reason, and then the Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are distracted, and then Damian Priest cashes in his briefcase, and then they win the titles back.
I don't think they're doing that. I don't think they're going to
if that happened.
I don't think they're going to do that for the simple reason that Priest has stated he's only cashing it in on set. But that brings me to this point. It's easily fixed. The belts need to be split. Mania is the perfect opportunity to do that. We pick 2 teams from SmackDown, 2 teams from Raw, Judgment Day in the middle. We have a good old 5-way tag match. 2 out of 3 falls. The first fall for the Raw tag team titles. The second fall for the SmackDown tag team titles. Nick is happy. Adam's happy. Let's make it official.
Yeah,
but that makes sense.
And before you ask me what 5 tag teams you put into it, along with Judgment Day and the Awesome Truth. You have the Creed brothers, you have DIY, you have Chad Gable's tag team. Because Chad's going to need to do something Mania and not get wasted. And we know he's not getting Gunther because I imagine Sheamus is getting Gunther. So there are teams there that can make it a really good match. Because we know Priest is walking out of Mania with Seth's world title one way or another. Because he has to cash it in. Because his time is running out to cash it in.
I guess that's for another discussion. But Drew's walking out of Mania as champion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree. He's deserved that shot, that chance to walk out as champion with a crowd this time compared to obviously with the Performance Center one when he beat the man who
he does deserve it, but Priest is going to cash in and he's going to take the belt.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we'll come on to Drew more when we talk about the men's.
Yeah. I'm just going to jump in though. Sorry, I was going to jump in though with the whole build up to this match and stuff. Like, right, first of all, are we all predicting Judgment Day to retain?
Yeah.
I would say so, yeah.
I think the way it's leading, I think it's that way. But you know what though? And here's what a lot of people are forgetting. I think they had a perfect opportunity for not a split from the Judgment Day, but someone to be kicked out of the Judgment Day. And I think that would have been a better build than this whole R-Truth shit. Because we had this animosity with Finn and Damian Priest over the Money in the Bank contract. When we did. Now, we all know Finn Balor should have won at SummerSlam, but I think, in my opinion, they should have carried that over to this Mania as them being tag team champions and having that animosity still. And it can still even build up then to the Raw after WrestleMania where either Finn or Damian gets kicked out of Judgment Day. Because not only that, you have that story you're building, but then you could have also, as I said, build up a new tag team who are going to be, who will have a better run than what R-Truth and The Miz would do. That's why even Aaron said, The Miz is a wank as a face. You can't believe him as a face. He's a tool bag, honestly. And the way they're doing it now, it just doesn't make sense. But I think they should have done it a different way, as I said. I think they should have just had animosity amongst the Judgment Day building up to Mania instead of like R-Truth.
We get it. You're racist. Let's move on to the next match.
That's the one that said the Bianca Belair comment. You got some cheek.
Oh, Christ!
I don't know what you're talking about. Because we watched that back, I didn't make any comments that were upsetting or otherwise.
Yeah, because it was a master editing. So, and
we're going to edit that now because they're letting people backstage.
But right, we'll get into the next match, which is actually the women's Elimination Chamber match featuring Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Tony, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and the returning Raquel Rodriguez. Now, before I actually get into a preview for this match, I actually have a few facts that I wrote down for this particular match. So, going into this match, Liv Morgan is actually going into her 5th chamber match, which is the most of any woman in the entire of WWE. This is Becky Lynch's 4th chamber match as well. She's never had a chamber match before. This is literally going to be our 4th one. None of these women have ever actually won an Elimination Chamber match, so we're going to have our 4th winner going in on Saturday. And then, here's another fun fact. Tiffany Stratton will make history, and she'll be the youngest participant in the Elimination Chamber. So,
nice.
Lads, I know with the way it's been building for the last few weeks, we know where it's going to go, but what do you take on the build between Rhea and potential winner Becky Lynch?
It's a bit strange. Sorry, Tori. I think it's a bit.
Sorry, Aaron. I have to be a humble host and let you go first.
No, that's all right. I mean, you boys aren't going to like what I say because I can't stand Becky Lynch. It's really hard. Hold on a second. I'm sitting here as casual, like listening to your comments. I haven't even ridiculed Mark for coming on an Irish podcast with a Poxy Rangers jersey, so we're all good here.
Yeah. They don't call it the weekly controversies for nothing.
I mean, appreciate you, Mark. And you're definitely going to get an invite back when Jamie gets his new Celtic jersey.
I have to buy one now at the shop.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been weird to build because, it's weird because Rhea's now been presented as like a face now. Like with Nia Jax, and then you get Becky coming in. I also feel it was weird with Becky and Rhea at the kickoff stuff going on, and really that should have been Bayley.
A lot of that kickoff felt really weird.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing just feels weird and a bit forced. But also, I mean, it's probably a question for you guys rather than me because I'm not that invested in Becky Lynch. Are you guys wanting to see that match in Mania, Becky versus Ripley?
So Jamie's gonna hate me for this. Right? Actually don't want Becky to win the chamber
I can
because
understand that.
I
But
think Becky has business to finish with someone else at Mania. I would actually rather Liv or Raquel win the chamber and face Rhea at Mania.
right, Liv, I get. Raquel, you're on drugs. Why? Why Raquel? You have to give me a very, very good reason why Raquel.
Because she's the only one with the size and build that can actually be a believable winner of a Rhea Ripley. If Nia Jax was me, in Australia.
I mean, so what? Someone could be 5'2" and still be Rhea Ripley. It's a wrestling match. Anything can happen.
I think Raquel's the one with the most.
I think I've touched the name on Jamie. So Jamie's now a racist and he doesn't like Latinos. We're definitely getting cancelled this week.
Oh my God, you are claiming I am. It's not that. It's listen. Raquel Rodriguez came back in her first match in months, right? Great to see her back and wins the fucking Battle Royal. I mean, it was obvious the way they were going with it, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. You know, why is
I will say I don't
deserving
agree
of
with that booking. I don't agree with that booking. I was actually hoping Chelsea Green took that final spot.
Yeah, I get that. I think Chelsea Green deserved it more than anyone.
Thing is about Raquel, she's got size. She's very similar to Nia Jax, and she's believable if she were to be built in the right way. I think if anything, the booking it's been too obvious with Becky and her the way that she's been built ahead of this, and I think they made a rod for their own back. I actually controversially potentially think that they've wasted Nia on Rhea too early. I think the match for Mania should have been Rhea and Nia, with potentially with Becky fighting Rhea at the Elimination Chamber. Nia wins the Elimination Chamber. She should. That she probably deserves it. She actually had a pretty good comeback. Plus, seeing her in an Elimination Chamber where she can just wreak havoc would be incredible. And who doesn't want to see her do that rather pathetic finishing move from the top of the cell?
She needs to get a new finishing move. She
For
needs
me,
to get a new finishing move because she's going to kill someone with that move.
That is the main thing. It's far too violent. It's she's gonna absolutely squish somebody in two. Clearly, don't know if you guys saw the latest the clip of her at a house show performing that. It was pretty pretty weak looking, but that's what's holding her back. That's what's holding her back. But for me, I think they made a run for their own back. I think Becky does win. I think they've been setting it up. I think it's probably been too obvious. And I think that they've actually maybe wasted Nia here. I think Nia at Mania would have been the choice for Rhea here.
I disagree on the grounds that, yes, Becky probably is going to win and she has been picked to win it, even though I'd sooner see Liv or even Tiffany Stratton get a chance to show ourselves what she's got. But I see Becky winning it. But I don't know if any of us have noticed it on Twitter or Instagram. But they started mentioning that Nia Jax was born and bred in Australia.
I haven't noticed.
So we've two Australians apparently in the main event of Elimination Chamber. So
we'll come on to that match because I think that one isn't as big a foregone conclusion as people were saying. Especially with the I'm not convinced. I don't know with the Elimination Chamber match if it's not Becky really. But then I think if Nia wins, then I think I would rather see Becky Lynch, Nia Jax than Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley. I don't know if you.
So that was my thinking. I think Nia is going to beat Rhea at Chamber, and it's going to be Becky Nia at Mania, and then Rhea and Liv are going to have their grudge match and some kind of stipulation match at Mania.
I tell you, it's not going to win, Naomi.
Yeah.
I'm literally face palming to what Tony just said because they're not going to do that. They're not putting Rhea Ripley in the main event of fucking Elimination Chamber in Perth for her to fucking lose to Nia Jax.
The heat.
No,
tell that to Drew McIntyre.
Triple H. Triple H loves one thing,
part, but
and
Drew
that's shocking
wasn't the
fans.
fucking champion. I can get that part, but he wasn't the champion.
Dale.
What
happened to Drew McIntyre at Clash of Champions?
He wasn't the champion. That I can get that
Doesn't
part.
matter.
There was
Everyone went, they think, everyone else went, they think, everyone else went, they think he was going to win. Everyone was 90% certain that was going to win because of
I
where it
get
was
that
being
part
held.
because that's what they was. That's the whole story was building towards. Oh, he could fucking win it, and then Solo Sikoa, like as he did with Cody, broke all our fucking hearts. I get that part, but Rhea Ripley was on a monster run as a women's champion. She's probably out of the two women's champions had a brilliant run with her belt, and you cannot tarnish all that. Giving it to Nia Jax, which by the way, when she was the Raw Women's Champion, did nothing with it. Nothing with it. She only defended the belt once against Ronda Rousey at Money in the Bank and then lost it that same night to Alexa Bliss. Don't put her as a champion like at all. The whole point of her being Rhea's like opponent is so they can feed her to Rhea. They can build then Rhea then and Becky Lynch, which I think Becky Lynch is going to win at the Elimination Chamber for Mania. And I get where like Mark is going with that. They should have done Becky at this one and then Nia at WrestleMania, but I feel like I think it's more unpredictable to put Becky at WrestleMania because in the back of probably people's mind it could go, well, Becky Lynch could win. You know, she hasn't really had a big win at WrestleMania since what probably her last win at WrestleMania 35 or even Shayna Baszler the year after that. So in the back of people's minds it could go, oh, Becky could win, you know, because it's a big match and stuff like that. But no, they won't put the belt on Nia Jax. There's absolutely no way.
Look at Nia Jax is winning on Saturday. She took out all 6 women on Raw with ease. She's taken Rhea out for the last 4 weeks. They built Nia as this monster heel. They built Nia the way they built Andre the Giant. And now they're building Nia from fucking Australia. The writing's on the wall here. Nia Jax is walking out of Australia as the women's champion.
Listen, Tony, that's in your wet dream that Nia Jax is the champion. That's in your wet dream.
It's what I'm saying. It's what I'm saying. You don't build someone up to be as big a monster as they build Nia Jax for her to lose to Rhea Ripley and Vic.
So
that just deflates all the momentum that they're giving Nia Jax going into Vic.
Yeah, I actually agree with Tony, but I also agree with Jimmy on here but what I think is actually going to happen. So I think Becky Lynch will win the Chamber. But I think you'll find that either the match will finish as a disqualification for the Women's Championship at the Elimination Chamber and make a triple threat match between them two and Becky for the championship at WrestleMania. Because that way you're not making Nia Jax look bad by either losing.
I was thinking that too. I said it was going to either end with a DQ finish or Nia Jax was winning. But we weren't going to get a clear-cut winner.
Well, I mean, I think we all agree then that Becky Lynch is winning the Chamber, right?
Yeah. No, we have before, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the women's match, it really depends where it is in the card. Is it main event? Do we know that for fact, or is it or could it be anywhere?
I have a feeling Rhea Ripley be the main event, but I'd say with the way the order is, I'd say they'll probably start off with, I don't know why, but the men's match first. I just don't know why. I think the men's match first, then the tag match, then they'll have the women's match, then be the last two. I don't know why. I just have that mad feeling that the men's match.
I think they'll do men's. I think they'll do men's first.
I agree with you.
Just because they did women's first at the Royal Rumble, so I just think they'll do that. At the women's match, I've got to be honest, before coming on this, I wasn't interested in the slightest. I'm actually quite intrigued by it.
Well, yeah, I was going to actually say, though, right, because there's 2 women that we haven't really talked about because, 3 women. You've got Naomi, who has come back since, re-signing for WWE and has got put into this match. And it's like, right, what is she going to do? What story is she going to put on? Then you've got Bianca Belair, who there's rumors that she's going to have a match with Jade Cargill. We don't know how that's going to go. You know, is Jade going to come out, probably distract? But then not only that, Tiffany Stratton, which probably will be the first person who will get eliminated. She's the youngest one. She is out probably here to prove that with all these veterans that are in the ring, she can hang with the best, you know, because she came from NXT and she had a great match against, was it Mia Yim? Her first match was, and she looked really, really good. For someone who's only new into the main roster, she looked really, really good. And that Milsall, by the way, is chef's kiss. Wow. She definitely could be one of the standout performers. Even if she does get eliminated and she only has about probably 10 minutes, she could probably have the best 10 minutes of any women's wrestler in that match. So,
do you think she's the one to go over Raquel? I think perhaps that's how they they kind of get her seen and over a bit. Maybe she gets a big pinfall. I think she may go out first, but I think for it to be the story, like you say, she's the youngest. It's her kind of big PLE debut here. Then probably see her maybe taking, getting a pinfall over Raquel, or one of the bigger talents on there.
So obviously, I'm gonna add here. Who do we think is going to be the first two to start it? And what order do we think the rest are going to enter?
Bianca won. I think Bianca's going to be the Iron Woman MVP, whatever. I don't know why. I've actually got a soft spot for Bianca Belair. I
love that though. I love that.
I don't know why.
More. Love it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't have a reason for it.
I was thinking Becky Bianca started. All right, that was my feeling.
Yeah, I can. Well, no, I can't see it because then that goes against my argument of Bianca lasting the longest. I think they'll give Raquel the least amount of time. I think she'll be like last in. I don't really know when it comes to this, to be honest. I don't really know.
I don't think that Tiffany will be the first eliminated. I think Naomi's going to have that on her.
Yeah, and I think it'll be Tiffany that'll pin her.
I actually think the first two is going to be Becky and Tiffany because of history in NXT. I say they'd be the first two.
Which means Tiffany will get eliminated in record time.
You never know. It gives her the 10 minutes that I said. I'd say 10 minutes would be plenty for her to do a lot. But sure,
I actually think 3 seconds to win a world title.
Yeah, I suppose. But I actually never even answered, I think, Tony's question at the start about if it wasn't Becky, who I'd like. Honestly, I would love Bianca for the simple fact that I think it's been a long time coming. But they could do it for even next year's Mania. That Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair is like a dream match. Is like a WrestleMania match that's like waiting to happen. Because I actually think that match as well would absolutely blow the stadium off. Like, I think them two women would have an incredible match, probably match of the year contending, because they're both similar. They're both like really similar wrestlers, and I think that match would be amazing. But as we all are predicted, Becky Lynch is going to win.
Yeah,
but I think otherwise. Sorry, just the last point on that. If Becky's not winning, what is she doing at Mania? And that's why I think she'll probably be the one.
Yeah, true. There'd be nothing for her if she didn't win it. There'd be literally
the whole thing with Becky at the moment is a redemption story.
Everyone's got a fucking redemption story.
Everyone's got
a redemption story. No, Triple H loves the stories.
Oh, fucking hell. I said it last
I guess nobody's finishing that story at Mania.
Everyone but Cody Rhodes is going to finish their story at WrestleMania.
I mean, I've got a fucking story, but you don't see me, complaining and bitching about The Rock. Well, that's not true.
Newfound respect for Aaron.
Yeah. So the next thing I actually want to kind of touch on is not even a match. It's the Grayson Waller effect that's featuring Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Now, I haven't really got a note for that because I think this is kind of an interesting segment that could go anywhere. Yeah. So, who wants to take on this? Because I don't really have much for it.
I think this one depends. This one really depends. Does The Rock or Roman appear on the show? If not, this is complete fodder to get Cody and Rollins on the show without them having a big match.
And also, Grayson's Australian, so it's also to showcase him in Australia.
Yeah.
Apparently, Roman and Rock are both on the way to pick.
I think the most likely thing that will happen is Austin Theory will come out and then they'll have an impromptu tag team match.
Oh, which could obviously set up what it looks to be inevitable, this tag team match that we're getting at Mania. That's a decent shout. I think that's probably more likely than having the Rock and Roman show up. I don't think they'll be there, even if rumors are there.
Imagine how hated Australia it'd be if they had this impromptu tag match and Grayson Waller accidentally injures Cody. Imagine how hated Australia it'd be.
That would be funny, like, to be fair. But I think, as I say, what Aaron was saying there about having, obviously if you have them two doing the Cody and Seth sort of promo type of thing on the Grayson Waller effect and having that improv match like made from that, I think that's a very good shout actually. Now I'm kind of actually expecting that to happen now in a sense now for that. So if that doesn't happen, Aaron, I'm blaming you for that.
If it does happen, Triple H call me.
It's like Grayson Waller says. It's Grayson Waller has said it time and time again. Everybody wants that Grayson Waller rub.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
True. But I listen, I didn't get fucking any notice of this until I got told literally probably an hour or two ago. But the spottings of a particular dead man in Perth.
Well, he
Could
is
the
in Perth. That's
Undertaker come
confirmed
out?
because he's doing his one dead man show that weekend.
But could he come out at the big entrance and just tombstone pole driver Grayson Waller? Because not only that, Grayson Waller gets that moment.
Why?
Yeah, why?
I don't know. Yeah, why did
Things-
Undertaker come out with like on a football pitch, right? With fucking Cristiano Ronaldo as the captain of Al Nassr, holding up the Riyadh season trophy.
Well,
How did that happen?
Actually, I could see it. I could
Good
see him
money.
doing it. I could see him doing that to Bronson Reed, who might be on the show against Australia. I can maybe see that as like another segment, maybe if he is going to do that. But why the fuck should he come into that? There's no way.
I don't
It's
know
just-
because it's he's spotted. So I just thought of that. That's the 14 that was on my mind.
This fits well with my next question because I was actually hoping to try and fit it in, and Jamie gave me the opportunity. Given we know that there's 4 matches, we're probably going to have a 4-hour show.
Yeah.
Will there be any surprises?
I'd say so, but I've no idea what.
No.
But I think Triple H has got something up his sleeve, but only he knows.
It's an
Yeah,
interesting one. Oh, sorry, Mark.
I was going to say that I think just when obviously the Wi-Fi cut out, I was going to answer the question. I can jump back in on Triple H having booking 4 matches. Triple H seems to like to book PLEs like he liked to book his own matches, long and laboured at times, and both Elimination Chambers expect to go, certainly the men's could go 40, 45. That's what I think will go last, for example. There's going to have to be things in between. I genuinely see 6 segments, 4 matches. I think you get something with Bronson Reed. That's maybe where you would get some surprise or some shock or something. Maybe it's like a return of Sheamus, because I think if Rob's correct and Sheamus is going, I think it was yourself, Rob, that mentioned that Sheamus goes over Gunter at Mania. If that's the case, Danny's built, Danny's started. He may be back potentially. Can't quite see it, but that's a segment with Bronson Reed. Maybe it's the Undertaker after all. I doubt it. And then something will likely happen in this other segment with the Grayson Waller effect. But I think Bronson Reed's on the show. I think you'll get 6 segments. I think most of the matches are going to go pretty long here, especially the men's chamber and especially Rhea and Nia. They'll both go over 20-25.
I had one surprise in mind. Now it wouldn't be like it would be a surprise to me, but it wouldn't mean anything to me because I couldn't really give a fuck. But because it's in Australia, and I know Tony will love this, because I think something like this would make sense to build onto Mania if they did do it for the women's chamber match. Now we know Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, they're both going to lose, but I'd say they'll be back as a tag team. And the Kabuki Warriors are probably going to defend their titles on night 1 and night 2 in some sort of multi-woman match. A certain Iconics return.
That's not
Could
possible.
we see the Iconics come back? Now, I don't know if they're signed with a company. That's the first thing that's on my mind because they're Australian. I think that reaction would be monstrous. It'd be monstrous because the reaction they would get would be unbelievable. But not only that, they would set up probably a multi-woman match at WrestleMania because they're like returning tag team.
So nobody would love that more than me because I am a huge fan of Peyton, of Billy or Cassie and forgetting it.
What's on it?
Biggest fan over.
I don't even know their names.
But I know Cassie. That's all I need. That's all that matters. It's Jessica. Cassie and Jess.
Right.
But I can guarantee they won't be there. because
Right.
both of them
One
are
of them
heavily
not just-
pregnant.
Yeah, one of them just had a
Oh
baby.
shit,
or
Eddie!
pregnant or
Oh, I
something.
didn't know. See, I don't
Both of them
follow.
are heavily pregnant.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
watch, so I just guessed. You know
It'd
what I
be a
mean?
good
See,
thing if it'd be a good thing to happen, but yeah, no, I
Except-
follow their podcast, so they're both heavily pregnant.
It'd be iconic if they came out and just took some bumps.
Have me some
No.
bump to take. But that's the thing, because I mean, the Iconics obviously with being Australian type of thing. I heard a report a couple of months ago that they were actually going to be at Perth, just like the host, a special host for the show. Now, whether that would be like sort of pre-show, whether it would be like, whether it's going to be there just for fans or what, but I heard that we're going to be there in some kind of shape or form.
Is Nathan Jones scheduled to appear?
I don't think that's allowed, but yeah.
We are the controversial podcast, so why
What
not?
about what about a certain?
I mean,
Buddy
unless they
Murphy?
both had their kids and they're able to go. But last I checked, Cassie was pregnant, and so was Jess.
I'm hoping they're not pregnant, so I don't look fucking
Listen,
stupid.
if their music hits, I will mark out.
I
I
don't
would be the
follow
loudest
them.
person on the
That's
Twitch
literally
stream.
the first thing that was on my fucking mind. I was just like, yeah, Iconics, yeah, that'd be great to put on the podcast. How fucking stupid do I look now?
To be fair, there's one surprise. If you think back to what they did in the clash at the castle, where Drew got beat and had a sing song, perhaps if we are correct and Nia going over Rhea somehow, maybe to get the crowd home happy, Kylie Minogue comes out and sings Rhea Ripley.
No.
Kylie and Jason come out. That's just
Rhea Ripley grabs the mic.
Get Margot Robbie in that women's championship match. I love her.
Or maybe to keep the fans happy and entertained, maybe a certain Hugh Jackman could be in attendance.
Wolverine.
He's done it before.
Or Russell Crowe if you're into that kind of thing.
He's got a new movie to build up as well, promote.
True. Yeah. Well, so we might as well get into the men's elimination chamber match, and yeah, we all know who's coming in there. There's Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight,
yeah.
and Kevin Owens, and the US champion Logan Paul. The only fact I kind of found out from this is that Randy Orton is going to break a record of being in the most elimination chambers in WWE history. He'd be going into his 9th elimination chamber, and he only won it once. For the amount of times that he's in it, he only won the elimination chamber once. So, lads, this is Drew McIntyre's time.
Is the winner of this going to Mania, or is the winner of this facing Seth on the night? Because they weren't too sure what way that was being booked.
No, they're going to do the world champion at WrestleMania.
True.
I've got a massive problem with this match. And the fact is, you've got one Raw superstar fighting for the Raw Championship in this chamber. The other guys are SmackDown guys, right?
I actually didn't know that.
They're all SmackDown guys.
Yes,
LA
they are.
SmackDown,
Oh, I actually didn't
Randy
know
Orton, Lashley, Logan Paul, they're all
Fuck, you're
SmackDown
right.
guys. So I've just got a massive problem with this match. Just from that booking, as soon as it was sort of multi-brand qualifiers, it sort of lost on me in terms of like what they're going to do. They're going to unify the belts in the future again. I quite like the brand split. So that's my big bugbear with the match. The 6 on paper, you're like, wow, that's a really good 6. But when you think of it from like kayfabe or for a Raw Championship, it's like, oh, SmackDown guys, which means Drew must win. Drew must win.
Well, I
But
have
you know what?
a couple of
I've
things.
got a sorry, you're going to say something?
Yeah, just quickly. So when Aaron mentions that, I think I actually don't mind the fact that most of them are from SmackDown. I think that probably has to be done given that Cody's on Raw and he's likely to challenge for the SmackDown title. I think that's probably going to be a switcheroo if that were to happen. The problem I have, maybe controversially, I don't really see why Bobby Lashley is in there. I don't quite get what's been going on with him in the last few months with the Street Profits. He built up this, the stable that he's trying to get back, and suddenly he's single again, and he's going into the chamber for some strange reason. Yet there's a weird thing going on with Karrion Kross. Does Karrion Kross somehow cost him it? Why is he in there? That is a spot for me that could have been taken by somebody else.
So,
I'm not exactly sure who, but it's a
Mark,
for me.
you've given me the missing piece. Because I was looking at me sheet here, looking at the rest of that red, I was like, who could they take out? Lashley's in there to get taken out and someone to take a spot.
Bronson Reed if he was able to do it.
I could see the final testament taking him out before the match and somebody else, an open spot being given, whoever goes out first gets it. That could be a spot that's another surprise.
And we think
participant.
there's going to be a race down the ramp, and Bronson Reed's going to win it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was not much chance in NXT, and Lash Legend just came out and was given the spot. Something like that.
That's a good show, though, Tony. That is a good show.
I've got a controversial take. I don't know if it is going to be controversial to you, but I did not get when I saw the graph why Logan Paul and Kevin Owens got qualified matches, because them two shouldn't even be near the chamber match. Because I get that following to the Royal Rumble and Kevin Owens with the brass knuckles, which was an amazing ending, by the way, they could still do that match at the Elimination Chamber on its own. And I would have filled them two slots with Sami Zayn and AJ Styles. For the simple fact, Drew McIntyre has a thing with Sami Zayn and AJ Styles has a thing with LA Knight. There's still stories that they could build with them two guys, but for Logan and KO to be in there, like, they're still going to have the match at WrestleMania, I think, regardless. Even if Kevin Owens was to lose or was to be cheating, I think they're still going to have possibly a match with Kevin Owens and Logan Paul for the US Championship. What are they in there for? Are they in there just for what? To rub with LA Knight? Because I think everybody knows that LA Knight is going to be in the match anyway. They could build that for next week's fucking SmackDown. I just don't get why Logan and Kevin Owens are in this chamber match, knowing that like Sami Zayn would have been perfect for that match as well.
So Billy, I think for Sami, it's not fitting with his story at the minute. I think with Logan Paul, you know he's going to do something athletic. There's going to be something in there that he's been training up to do. There's going to be a big spot for him. And Kevin Owens is a safe pair of hands. So, you know, to go in there, obviously from a storyline perspective, kayfabe, I get it. It doesn't make sense. But from a putting a match together point, it does make sense. It's
Star
interesting.
power.
Yes, it's interesting though, a star power as well, because we're in Australia, a different market, and he's mainstream. But it's going to be interesting because I think LA Knight's going to be runner-up, and then AJ Styles is going to cost LA Knight for Drew to win. Because Drew, for all his amazing run recently, he's not actually won clean like since turning heel.
Well, I mean, he's a heel, so you can understand
but
why
he's not won clean once. So that's like my finish. So I think that AJ is going to come in. But I also think this match, and I'm hoping, and I don't know what direction they're going to go with it, but I'm hoping that this match will be the start for Randy Orton's plan for Mania, because no one has any idea what's going on with him. So I'm hoping
one of the things they have down.
Yes,
what is Randy Orton's plans for Mania?
So I'm hoping that someone interfere, cause I hope his story starts at the chamber story again. But I hope his WrestleMania match gets built from the chamber, because Randy's too big not to have a big story at Mania. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't imagine I'm the only one that has this thought, but the whole Elimination Chamber match card has been one big clusterfuck.
Yeah.
I mean, you have five SmackDown, one Raw in the men's chamber, and I mean, it was obviously rushed because they didn't know who to put in it. They couldn't stick same people in it because they were injured. They couldn't have this person in it or that person in it. I mean, I imagine Logan Paul and Kevin Owens are going to eliminate each other in some shape or form. Because in the talks, the Paul brothers against KO and Sami at Mania, isn't that the talks?
I thought the talk was LA Knight and Logan Paul at Mania.
No, apparently it's LA Knight AJ at Mania.
No, but can you understand the issue though, Tony? Why are these two in the match? To eliminate each other? Like,
because they don't want to give them another singles match.
At the Elimination Chamber.
They don't want to give them another singles match. They don't want to give them another singles match. They needed to fill the spots because of injuries. So they put them two in it. They can still continue their feud, eliminate each other. Drew was winning the chamber. There's no two ways about it.
No,
so it doesn't matter who's in it. Drew was winning.
I get that, right? But
unless
when
Punk
we
is more
talk
active
about
recovery and shows up and picked.
No, I get that, right? Look, listen, what we have now, I'd say AJ will probably cost LA Knight in some way, shape, or form. If they were to do that match without the US Championship, which I don't know would really make any sense, because LA Knight deserves to be champion. He really does this year, you know, because it would be good for him to have a mid-card belt and run away with it, because I don't see him being world champion this year, probably next year. I just really don't see it. I think with the way the direction has gone for the world title picture, with, in my opinion, the four people being Roman, Cody, and then for the world title, Drew, and then I'd say Sami. I just don't see like where LA Knight could fit into that other than probably the Money in the Bank. But I don't think he should win the Money in the Bank for the simple fact that I think he should be in some sort of multi-man match for the US belt and have that moment at WrestleMania. But that's where I'm going to say, like, Sami Zayn has this thing where he wants to be world champion and he has this issue with Drew, but they could still build that upon Money in the Bank. Drew can have a monster run with that world title, and then Sami Zayn can get revenge then and boom, wins the Money in the Bank and then takes the belt off Drew by cashing in. They could still build that from probably Elimination Chamber now onwards into the summer for even going into SummerSlam. You know, I just don't. These two going into the chamber match is just a throwaway spots. You probably think Drew's going to win, but I still think there's still stories with the other two, with AJ and Sammy being in, then Kevin Owens and fucking Logan Paul.
I think this looks a lot different if they
I
hadn't
don't know
been so
why AJ
unlucky
wasn't
with
for it.
injuries. I think there were injuries.
They had
you know,
they have injuries as well. There you go, JD. If they're injured, they're not going to be used.
I think yeah, well, more the CM Punk injuries shaking things up just a little bit. They probably had to rethink, and the build has therefore been maybe not quite as good or as strong for that, but they've still got the star powers in. I think LA Knight, Kevin Owens and Logan Paul in for the star power, Orton in for star power, Drew in just to win it because I don't see another winner from there. Lashley in to be taken out. That's probably why. Punk was probably going to go in, probably also going to win it. And like you say, I think they got to keep LA Knight and Styles slightly away from each other if they're going to build for that later on. Having it in there, who what does one of them pin another? They've still got time that they can build that.
I don't watch Raw fully. I get the clips, but did LA cost AJ a spot?
Yeah, he did because it was the whole thing. And he was saying,
Well, then AJ will probably cost LA
that's what I'm saying.
his victory, and then
That's what I'm
that'll
saying.
set up AJ LA for Mania. Because
But
they've been
I'm
back and forth since AJ returned.
But I'd be very disappointed if they don't go down the LA Knight Logan Paul route Mania actually because
I don't think they will.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah,
thank
no, I'll be
you.
disappointed
Thank
just
you.
because I think LA Knight actually does deserve a championship.
Thank you.
And I'm definitely not up for seeing Logan Paul in a tag team match with his brother at Mania. I would rather he's
No,
US
please
champion. He's got to defend unless he loses the title before Mania, and then you have LA Knight versus AJ Styles for the US title. That would be a good match for the title. That'd be great.
I don't think Logan Paul's losing that title anytime soon.
I don't think he's
Yeah.
losing it on free TV. There's no way.
I think we've got an issue with that as well. And the only thing I will say is that I think this is where Triple H's booking has been good, but also problematic. We have so many now titles now that the story deserves to be finished at Mania, and you can't have 3-4 title switches. If Cody's going to win and Drew's going to win, then Gunter's not going to drop it.
Yeah.
And LA Knight's not going to win the title. You can't have 4 switches, and it just makes it very, very difficult.
This is what I've been saying to people. I'm like,
Yeah.
if Cody Rhodes is winning that title off Roman, it's the only belt change it has that weekend.
It's
the only belt.
It's yeah. I said it last time I came on. I'm just not a fan of having all these long title reigns.
If you have
too many.
If you have 4 belts change hands, then Cody beating Roman will just be, oh yeah, there's another 4 belts to change hands. But if it's just Cody beating Roman, it's bigger, it's better, it builds on the whole, oh, he did it, he ended the streak.
Oh yeah. Also, like a title, it would be nice for a title to change. So, I mean, I'll come on to the next match, but like it'd be nice for a title to change, which isn't on a big pay-per-view. It'd be nice, for just.
Well, we almost had that on Raw, and that's the thing. That's why I think maybe that Gunter drops the title.
Yeah.
Maybe beforehand.
Well,
I don't know, but
I mean, he was meant to. Apparently, it was the last minute call to have Gunter retain on Monday. If you believe what you read, it was a very late decision to have Jimmy Uso come out and cost.
Yeah, I just think they've kind of got lucky with Gunter's situation with his visa and very unlucky with injuries. And the Gunter would have been a good shout to actually have in that match again for star power, for visibility, although who goes over him is the issue. But also by having him not appear on PLEs, suddenly Gunter is actually able to main event big shows and give that title such visibility that makes it really problematic, as Tony says, if he's going to drop it at Mania, because it doesn't quite look as good elsewhere. That probably has to be dropped earlier or after.
He'll probably lose
Look
it at
at-
Bash of Berlin, won't he? He'll probably keep it till
Well,
Germany.
Many people are saying that they're going into Bash of Berlin and their main event is going to be Gunther and Roman, and that one of them is going to lose their belt, and one of them is one of their long run streak is going to end.
See, I always thought it was going to be Gunther against Kaiser at Bash in Berlin. I think they may have actually split
Listen,
them two up.
Kaiser doesn't need a belt. Kaiser goes home to Tiffany Stratton every night. Kaiser is winning without having a
Lucky
belt.
man. Lucky fucking man.
I think Gunter goes clean over Cody at Berlin.
Oh, don't know.
Like,
But
we seen it last year in LA. There was like what 5, 6 title changes, and then Reigns retained, and everyone was pissed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wasn't pissed. I was happy, but still.
no,
So-
sorry, Colin. I was going to say.
No. I was just basically just going to ask, going back to Orton. Do you think anyone comes in on him?
Well, the only person, if he's not going to be directly involved with Triple H and the Rock angle, whatever way that looks like, well, the only person you could feud him with, he said he wants to take out the bloodline is Solo.
It's the only one.
Who hasn't won a match since he beat Cena?
Oh, I hate Solo. I hate him.
Well, look how he beat Cena. Look how he beat Cena. How many people can you say beat Cena within an inch of his life like Solo
Oh.
did?
Alberto Del Rio did. Brock Lesnar did. So the list is endless.
Oh,
They're
so
not-
Theory
we're
did.
Austin Theory did.
Austin Theory eating really quickly, actually.
God, there's so many. You lose count. Cena, he always does the job. I'm only joking. I don't know. I don't know what happens with Orton. I mean, the thing is, if Drew doesn't win, I riot because there's no other person in that match. I would.
But it makes sense. It has to be Drew. It makes too much sense for it to not be Drew.
I think Drew's the obvious one, because I mean, there's no one else. The only one you would even think of even having win that, in my mind, would be Randy if to go for it. But there again, it's like it's all Drew. It's like
I think that's a good point because for me, one of the things that has not been favorable, in my opinion, is that Drew has gone into this having lost to Rollins already. Yes, there was a bit of a weird finish with Rollins's foot on the ropes. Everything he moved him into the position accidentally, but Drew's had his chance, and I know this is another way for him to get it. But I would far rather see Drew win this without having already faced Rollins and lost than having had to watch him do that to then have a redemption arc as a heel that doesn't quite work for me. I think Sammy gets thrown into the title picture with Drew potentially, or if not, I think it wouldn't be, maybe that is the missing piece of the puzzle, that Orton actually does go over, face Rollins, and we get the Drew and Sammy match that potentially Sammy's looking for as well.
But they had
Mania.
that. But they had that. That's the thing. That match that would have made sense. They didn't have that match in Raw, after the Royal Rumble. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they didn't have that match after the Royal Rumble, I get it. The story was there for it.
Sammy
but
keeps talking about it for some strange reason.
Plus,
I know he does, which is why I don't know if he's going to come in and cost you. I don't know. I think it's got to be a triple threat match at Mania. I mean, there's talk as well of Zayn versus Gunther at Mania, but I don't really want to see Zayn in that.
I was going to jump in with that triple threat thing because there's a stigma around Manias that end in 0. 20, the main event was a triple threat. 40, the main event was a triple threat. And now everyone is saying, "Oh, we're at 40. What triple threat are we going to get this time?" Now, I would say as long as we get a triple threat and that stigma is still there, it doesn't necessarily have to be a World Title triple threat. But if it was to be, it wouldn't make sense to have Orton against Seth when Orton is failed to do away with the bloodline before he did that else with his career.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a triple threat match, it's definitely Rollins retains and Priest cashes in. I think
Unless Priest cashes in to make it a triple threat.
that's what I was just about to
Before
say.
the match
Because,
starts, he comes down and he cashes in and makes it a triple threat that way.
yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I think that's what he might
He'll
do.
have lost
to
his
be fair.
tag titles. He'll be fuming. He'll take the briefcase, go out, cash it in. And if you believe what people are saying, it won't work because Balor has the real briefcase. Whoever fucked up, whoever came for that storyline needs help.
I was going to butt in earlier before I let Aaron talk, though, because I wanted to talk about the whole title changes and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm still going to get into it. Like, weirdly enough, I don't know how I remember this, but I think the only Mania that had all titles being changed was the Mania that we were at, Tony. Like, every single belt changed hands that night. Every single one. And I'm not saying that it should happen for the 2 nights of Mania, but when you're talking about the whole, or if you had 4 title changes, it'd be too much. You have to realize it's 2 nights of Mania. It's not the one night. You can have 2 title changes in one night, 2 title changes in the other. And I still feel like you could still get a moment, even though Drew's a heel, and we still will cheer for him. It's still going to be a moment for him, and be same with Cody. But then, like with the US title picture, I'd say LA Knight will get a moment, and that'll be a multi-man match. But I don't think every single fucking WrestleMania match should be a multi-man match just to fit everybody in. Just do it with the way I think the storylines should go. And yeah,
But we don't know it's going to be a multi-man match. We don't know what way Triple H is going to book it. But you misheard me. I didn't say that we had to have 20 title changes because it would mean that. I said, if you really want Cody's win over Roman to mean something, don't overshadow it with 6 different title changes, because everyone will be talking about all 6 rather than the one that will matter, which is Roman dropping the title at a 1,500 plus days as champion.
Oh, I get that, Tony, but I mean, I still think that it'd still be a moment regardless. I feel like even if you had 5, now you said 6, even if you had 5, I still think it would be monstrous, because
you only want that one being talked about. You only want that one being talked about.
It would be the most talked about thing, even if there was 5 different changes.
No, Gunther drops his belt, because then everyone's talking about Gunther, and then Cody comes second.
There's so many belts, as well. One of the lads said there, there's so many belts. If there's 5, it doesn't have to be Gunther. It could be the women's tag belts. It could be the US. It could be the World and WWE.
Because the only 2 belts we talked about going into Mania is Gunther 600 plus days, Roman's 1,500 plus days. We know if Gunther drops his belt, Reigns probably isn't going to drop his. So I mean, they're not ending 2 of the longest title reigns in the one night, or over two nights.
No, I'd say Gunther's going to keep his. I think there's no way that he won't, lose at WrestleMania.
Like,
I'd say they will build it towards Germany.
I've spent the last 10 days listening to Cody Rhodes fans. I haven't a clue what they're talking about.
Yeah.
That are just caught up in the moment. I think that they think they know best.
Yeah, true. He hasn't even explained actually why he gave a spot to The Rock, because that's another thing as well I wanted him to talk about.
So that was changed. So apparently he gave a spot to Rock. That was meant to, Rock and Roman was meant to happen. But then apparently the We Want Cody movement that Triple H started changed the whole thing.
Yeah, true. But in the storyline purposes, we still kind of want to know why he did it.
Yeah, he hasn't given it.
We were all happy to get rid of a certain chairman of the boards, but it's almost like his son-in-law's booking the way he books.
Yeah, true.
It's just some really good shit.
Yeah, but you know what though? I actually wanted to say this before we get into the main event, which we actually did talk about a lot, but we're still getting into it. Like, does any of this feel exhausting to a lot of you? Like, do you feel like after WrestleMania is done, it's like, right, we can restart? Because I love that about WrestleMania sometimes. When WrestleMania and all is done with, it's like, right, restart for everything. Because with the messiness of the injuries, it just feels like, what are they going to fucking do? I just want to sometimes just relax and just see what they're going to do. Because if I wrap my brain around a lot of the stuff, it'll wreck my head. And then when something doesn't happen, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Sometimes I do feel like I just want to relax and just go, listen, let's just see what Triple H does with the booking.
Oh, I've been doing that and I've enjoyed his booking. But at the same time, and I get you want to travel the world and make the world, WWE World Wrestling Entertainment mean more all over the world. Can somebody give me a rough number of how many tickets they've sold for Pitt?
I'm not sure.
I think they're struggling to sell. I think they sold half the venue. I think the venue holds 60,000, if I'm not mistaken.
70,000.
So that means there's going to be what? 30,000 empty seats? No, 25,000 empty seats. Which I think nearly stayed in the arse struggle, because I was on Ticketmaster the other day and they were selling tickets for as little as $50.
Anyone want to go to Australia?
Have you got $2.5 grand for flight? You willing to travel 15 hours?
Why not?
15 hours? 15 hours? That's generous. $50. Add another $9 onto
That was a
that.
fucking fly altogether.
I think
I'm I'm obviously not
Jamie,
including the layover time, you know.
Yeah.
just to answer Jamie's question, I think you're right in the WrestleMania is a bit of a reset, but I think there's just so many stories at the moment. The big ones that need a payoff will get the payoff, and I hope we do. I don't see things like the Bloodline Cody story traveling beyond that night of Mania, other than maybe the Raw afterwards where there's something happening. But I think you've still got a lot that you can tell storyline wise with Gunter, storyline wise you can maybe tell with the Uso brothers, etc. Drew, Rollins, how Punk gets back into the mix. There's a few things still to go yet. I just hope that the post-Mania season isn't the Judgment Day interrupting everybody on Monday Night Raw again. That needs
No.
to stop. We need a bit more creativity, and we need a few more people to get invested. And I think that comes back to maybe like looking at the tag team division again, building up DIY, whatever. There's people there that are a bit stagnant or that are struggling at the moment to get the exposure they need because we have a few huge storylines we're all waiting for a payoff and can't get our heads around. So it'll be exciting to give other people a chance, but I do think, yeah, we'll get a mixture of reset, and I think that's why Gunter will probably continue with the title beyond Mania now, because you'll end up having something big to close out your shows.
Yeah. There's actually something I want to touch on, right? Because I think this would be interesting, though, because I talked about the reset of WrestleMania, and there was a certain cameo from a certain UFC fighter that happened on Monday who called out a certain Irishman. Michael Chandler called out McGregor. And it got me thinking about, right, the official crossover between the UFC and WWE has happened now. Like, we've seen Michael Chandler call out McGregor. I was going to actually say to you, will we see more of this? Like, even especially in Perth, because we could see someone like an Israel Adesanya. We could see Falkanovski, who literally lost his featherweight title there on Saturday. Could we see this team more after WrestleMania of more UFC fighters crossing over to WWE or potentially having matches?
I think they will, and I don't.
It's happened before.
Yeah, it's happened before, but I think we will see it more often as well. But I mean, is it something that we want in wrestling as well to see a lot of that? You know, see a UFC matches in WWE rings, for example, or challenges made on WWE TV. Yes, it's a part of their deal with TKO, but at the same time, this is WWE TV. You know, this is wrestling. It's not. We're not wanting to. Like, I'm not sitting there wanting to watch UFC fighters like call out another UFC fighter when it's nothing to do with WWE. You know, to me, that's just
Technically, yes, now that the UFC own WWE.
yeah, you know, but
It
Yeah,
just
no, I
gets
think
me
everyone's
excited.
caught off guard for that.
Yeah, it gets me excited though, because I just feel like that. I think you wouldn't have like it all the time, but if you got someone in there to be involved in the product, because you look at like Conor McGregor is a walking, talking absolute superstar when he talks. Like, he would be brilliant. Now with a script, it'd probably be weird, but when someone like that who has a character like he does, he'd be perfect. Even like Triple H and all has even said it before, he'd be perfect for the WWE. But the funny thing is, it's not like he needs that money either, because he already has enough money. Then you've got Israel Adesanya, who I actually feel like would be a very underrated wrestler, because he has that background in UFC and he's a big WWE fan. So I'd say someone like him as well could be amongst it, you know, in the next coming months, because he's not really doing that in UFC. And then also, if he's not doing that, and he could be in some sort of picture with a big, you know, superstar. You know, we don't know if it'd be fucking Logan or someone like that. I don't know. I wanted to get that out there because it interests me. It's like any crossover what got to do with WWE interests me. Yeah, there might be two different sports. It just gets me excited because it could have these possibilities. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, it does. It makes for an interesting development. But I believe that's a topic for another time.
Yeah, true. I just wanted to mention that. But anyway, we're
No,
going to
it's
get
too much
into
to
the
mention.
last. What's it?
It's a good thing to mention, but there's a lot to
Yeah.
unpack in it. So it has to be a topic for another time, unfortunately.
So as I said, I feel like Israel Adesanya is going to make an appearance and probably do a show anyway. But the last match we're going to get into is the main event, which most likely will be Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the women's world title. But sure, this will be the first ever main event between both women. And not only that, lads, if any of you remembered, last year's WrestleMania Night 1, the main event was supposed to be Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair before they changed it to the tag team match, which we all know deserved to be the main event. So I was going to say to you, do you think Rhea Ripley getting this main event is deserved?
Yes, hands down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she's even without a belt, Rhea Ripley is one of the best female competitors that I've seen in a long time. She's good on the mic. She's great in the ring. You know, you didn't even need to put that belt on her to be good. You know, the belt's basically just an accessory, really, in a sense. But giving it to Rhea Ripley, she's carried it. She's doing a brilliant job with it, and she's going to do a brilliant job with it going forward.
I think so as well. I think when you look at Rhea and what she's done over the last year, she's been the most consistent. She, if you take us back to a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, she was part of a stable. She was big, but she was part of a stable. She's now the stable, right? That does not, the Judgment Day does not get the TV time if it weren't for her. Her presence is probably, yeah, her presence is one that I don't think many on the roster can actually match as well. And I think she's been the most consistent over the full year since last Mania. I think she's been extremely consistent. She's been in, week out. She's been doing a lot of the interrupting that I complained about earlier on. But she's been on television every week and she has owned it. She's built Dominic Mysterio up to be a better heel by sheer, well, I'm not going to say by proximity, but every single time he's in the ring, she's gearing up the crowd to give him those reactions. Everyone she touches seems to get that little bit more over. So for me, yeah, this is huge for her. She does deserve it, and I think it's a massive moment. I think it's really nice for her to have that. But going back to a point Aaron made at the very beginning, it's just a bit odd that she's some sort of tweener. She will be cheered, and she will be, and rightly so. She's not likely to turn full on face because the Judgment Day won't. So after this, what are we supposed to do with her, and where does it leave the Judgment Day? Yes, she deserves it, but I'm just not sure what it looks like for going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I agree.
What are you going to say? Sorry.
Yeah, just to say that I agree. I don't know with this match. Just from speaking to you guys, I think that Nia's got to go over now. Just the more I think about it, the more I speak, it's like it's critical that Nia Jax has got to go over. It's like if Nia Jax is not winning, we fucking riot. She's got to win. I think for her, it's the most over she's ever been and ever going to get. It's the best work she's ever done, best work she's ever going to do. To beat Rhea Ripley, who's got a 300+ day world women's title reign in Australia, the heat on her would be magnificent. So I think that's what they want. Oh, she's got to win now. I will be pissed off now if Rhea Ripley walks out as champion. And before coming on this, I didn't care. So
that was my shock pick of all the match cards. Nia winning was my shock pick because I've watched how they built that. They've made her out to be this beast. They've made her out to be like this person who goes in and wrecks people. And they've even played off the fact that she's dangerous. That's part of my gimmick, and she doesn't give a fuck. As you see with Becky, she keeps mentioning wherever she's calling that right hand when she uses it.
Do you think?
So I mean,
sorry, Tony.
I don't think I love Rhea. I've been a Rhea fan since she stayed here to destroy Tim McGee with long blonde hair, and I loved the character development. And would I be pissed if Rhea lost in period? A little bit, but I'd also be happy because it's booking that makes sense. Because Becky said a month ago, the only blemish on her career is she's never beaten Nia Jax. Now, she's never beaten Rhea, but Nia has been the one that put her out, broke her nose, allegedly made the man. And it looked like they were feuding the two into Mania, and then the Rhea thing came up. So I don't think it's Becky's in the middle. Is it the Rhea route? Is it the Nia route? Do I agree with Rhea's main event being with Nia and not someone else?
Yeah.
I don't think there was anyone else unless you brought Jay Cargill in.
I think it's a bit fancy looking here, but I think R-Truth might have a part to play in this. And I in some way, I think he could get himself involved in it. And something would happen earlier on the night. I mean, the one thing I can see R-Truth doing is stealing Damian Priest's briefcase and trying to cash in with the briefcase. But I could just see him being involved there, trying to help Rhea, and not going right, and that sort of cements her. Does that cement her fate?
Well, he wouldn't help Dom on SmackDown, so does that not debunk that? Dom tried to trick him into having him on SmackDown, and he wouldn't. So if that was the theory and that was what they were going with, well, then R-Truth would try to help Dom on SmackDown.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I've just got a feeling that it's not going to be a clean.
I do agree,
match.
shenanigans. I've said it. I said the match itself either ends with Nia winning or it ends at DQ, but it doesn't end with Rhea Ripley getting a 1-2-3 victory.
Do you think that if that's going to main event, and presuming that the women's match is before, that Becky would get involved in the match?
I mean, Becky has that pick of who she wants to go against. So Becky could easily cost the patient she doesn't want, so she could walk out and be like, I want to finish it with Nia. I want to beat Nia, so I'm going to screw Rhea.
No, it's babyface. But I mean, that would
she's
be the
not
way
really,
again.
she's not really a face. She's the same as Rhea. She's a tweener. Some venues boo her, some venues cheer her.
She's a arse, that's what she is.
She's booked as a face. It's just down to general crowd reaction. For me,
but she's booked as a face, but she's a tweener. Like you see with the crowd, it was the same with The Rock. They popped for him for his music when he came out. When he started talking, they booed him. I mean,
but The Rock was. Yeah.
Can I just jump in though, because you say like she's a tweener.
But George Johnson, I really hope you can.
Yeah, she's still in the heel faction. So for me, I feel like she's still a heel. Even if I feel like she's doing the 1-2-3 overnight, and she's going in as a heel against Becky. Becky's the big baby face, so she's going to be the heel. But when you say like it shouldn't end that way, it's like then CM Punk shouldn't have never won the WWE title in Chicago against John Cena. To that logic, it should have been just John Cena. John Cena should have just won. Whatever the heat, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I disagree with you.
But the difference there, Jamie, the difference there is they built CM Punk up to beat Cena. It was built for weeks that he was going to beat Cena. They built Nia as this monster heel for weeks. For what? To lose to Rhea Ripley cleanly and just deflate all the build up they have for her.
All the Jackson-trons.
No, but it is though. Like Rhea Ripley is gonna just get another big win. That's all it is to me. Like, there's no hype as much as like I want this pay-per-view to be. And I just feel like that it's going to be a big moment forward to get a main event, to get a big win over Nia, and then it builds up to Becky. I feel like it's just that plain and simple. It just wrecks my head that
but it doesn't make sense.
The possibility of Nia winning is like going to make logical sense because Nia Jackson's build up as a monster. It's like, I get that part, but it's still going to make Rhea overcome the monster.
Triple threat is actually looking quite likely the more I think about it, as well. And like you talk about a triple threat match, that could be the one that's got a triple threat match.
That's why I was saying it either ends with Nia getting the win or it ends with it being a match thrown out. I don't see Rhea getting the 1-2-3 overnight.
That's what Nia Jax to win. Just my new fave.
So you're going for Nia Jackson.
I'm saying Nia Jax are a DQ finish.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think.
I'm basic.
I'm going.
Give me basic. I love basic.
Jamie's a basic bitch.
Ripley goes over. Ripley goes over for
what
me.
you saying?
I'm saying Ripley goes over for me. I can't see that. I can't see Rhea being pinned by Nia after taking that finisher. I can't see that. That just, no matter what, even DQ, whatever, I cannot see 1-2-3. Nia has sat on Rhea Ripley. No.
Can I actually point out something? Sorry, Mark. Can I just point out something? And I find this funny, right? Because I'm going to laugh at you after Saturday. Because you can clip this, right? The kickoff WrestleMania thing. Where was Nia in this Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley thing? Because I can totally get your logic if she was there that day. But she wasn't. It was Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. And that's what they're clearly building. It's basic. It's what they're doing. You can have she's built as a monster. Oh, she could beat Rhea Ripley and all. Because at the end of the day, they're just doing that so Rhea Ripley can get a big win in Perth, get that big reaction, end on a big high, and then eventually then they'll have that match with Becky. And then I'd say I'd say Rhea probably retain against Becky, but it'll be a very, very close match. You know, people will probably say Becky will win because of the history, but I'd say Rhea will probably win that. But Rhea's winning that. There's no
I
other way.
agree.
You're using the press conference face off as your whole
Yes, I am.
go-to on it. Right,
Yes, I am.
right.
Actually, I am.
Well, I'm happy you brought that up. Since we're using the press conference, where was the female Royal Rumble winner at this press conference that they were using the advertisement?
Yeah, actually,
Bayley.
you mentioned Bailey in this.
Yes, Bianca was there, and that's the thing that I think is just we can't go back to the. Whilst I actually think, Jamie, you're correct with the prediction, I don't think the press conference is something we can draw on. I just think they thought,
Thank you, Mark.
who can we build to actually speak and to sell this? And let's be honest, if you gave Becky Lynch a microphone and said sell WrestleMania, and you gave Nia Jax a microphone and said sell WrestleMania, who's going to get more buys? Who's going to get more interest? It's not going to be Nia. That's why Becky was there. That's why Bianca was there. Also, Bianca has a TV show that she needs to promote, and there's just not enough room on the press conference card for everyone to get on. I think we can't look into it too much.
Yeah. So yeah, look, listen, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be happening at 9 o'clock in the morning. We're all going to be fully awake,
10
excited
o'clock.
for this because this episode
10
has
o'clock.
gotten so many different. I said 9 o'clock, didn't I?
10 o'clock.
Oh, was it 10 o'clock? I said 9 o'clock earlier on, thinking it was 9 o'clock. Sorry, yeah, but 10 o'clock anyway. It's going to be exciting because this episode, I've enjoyed it, but in a way, when it comes to that match, it's kind of wrecked my head because I just feel like it's going to go the basic way with this match. This main event is going to go basic. I just feel like it's not going to go the way you are describing. It's not going to be Nia winning. It wrecked my head if she did. It just really
You're not
would.
listening to me. Listen to what I'm saying. It's either a Nia win or the match gets thrown out.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley is not pinning Nia Jax. Not after the way they built her. The only person that beat Andre Claim 1, 2, 3 was Hogan. And that was after years of Andre being built as this huge giant.
Right.
Why would you
Actually,
waste the time and effort to build her for her to lose cleanly?
Right. So can I just I'm gonna say here then, right, before we get into the favorite moments and all, and then we can have a good ending to this episode. I'm this confident with Rhea Ripley winning. I'll make a bet with you and Aaron. I'll make a bet with you. You can do whatever you want. I will bet with you. Rhea Ripley is winning on Saturday. What do you want to bet on?
I feel there's a lot more risk for us with it. So in terms of risk,
See, that's what I'm talking about.
No, I'm all for it. No, I'm all for it. I think that's what they should do. But with WWE, I don't trust them at the minute because of well, I've seen the whole Corey thing. I hate The Rock as well, but that's them putting themselves in a shitty situation.
And they've been doing stuff to take people's mind off the headlines.
We see John Cena today. He turned heel today with his comments.
I think that.
Yeah.
What's a better way to throw people off the headlines than to have a hometown hero lose in a hometown in the main event?
Yeah.
Right, so we'll just do points. Anyway, if I lose, I owe you points. If I win,
I've got
betting with you. We all have our opinions. We shouldn't have to bet over our opinions just because
I want this match to be exciting to me now because
Jamie,
it's like
we made it exciting. You could clip this whole episode and just use the last 15 minutes. Us getting controversies over Rhea and Nia.
Main event has gotten us heated. Sorry, I'm sorry for Mark and Average if you think I'm the biggest wanker. Sorry.
No, it's not good. I mean, the thing
mate.
This match has genuinely now wrecked my head because of this possibility of Nia Jax winning. And I don't want to win.
I tell you what, I don't know if you've got a championship belt, but whoever wins or like whoever gets the prediction right gets a championship belt. I'll take that. That's the main championship belt, and the loser's got to pay for it. I'm up for that.
The controversial title, make it happen.
The controversial title. That's fine. The controversial title. Whoever wins.
Whoever wins becomes the new tribal chief. That's what it is.
Exactly. Ship it to Leeds. I will happily.
Jamie has just caused killings here tonight.
Yeah, I got the episode interested over the main event. But anyway, listen, we'll get on to the last segment of this episode, which is our favorite, Elimination Chamber matches, but also moments. So, does anybody want to start with this?
I just want to quickly throw one out. When I say one, I don't really. When I say one, I mean one controversial moment, and that is I actually don't like the Elimination Chamber. I
Ooh.
think the Elimination Chamber PLE is problematic. I do not think we need a PLE or premium show, big show between the Rumble and WrestleMania. I think the reason
But I think it's the last year they're giving us it because they're getting rid of all the gimmick pay-per-views and
they get gimmick wise, yeah, but that's what I mean. So I don't dislike the match, the Elimination Chamber match as a concept, and you know what it's given us over the years, some good memories like we'll get into. Yeah, fine, but I think it's just an odd thing to have between the Rumble and Mania, and it causes a
yeah.
lot of booking problems and messes with our minds. To which point we think that Nia Jax might go over Rhea Ripley in fucking Perth,
Stop that.
Australia, in front of
Stop.
our fans.
You're gonna trigger me again.
So. Um, yeah, I just wanted to throw out that I actually don't particularly like the show. I like the match, and the one, well, there's two particular pieces that I'll throw out. The first one is my namesake, not everyone's favorite, but who can forget the rampage that Goldberg went on? I think it was back in 2003, where he ended by spearing Chris Jericho through the glass. That for me had, yeah. I mean, I used to call him Uncle Bill when I was a kid. We're not related, but that was certainly a moment. And I was young enough, a literal mark back then, where I thought that everything was obviously um, what you see was what you got, and didn't realize maybe how controversial and slightly poor at times Goldberg was as a wrestler. But what a moment! And he looked like an absolute beast during that. So that is the one. But I think in the same match, correct me, is this the same match or was it the year before where RVD gave that famous
Year
the
before.
first big spot? Yeah, 2002, where the frog splash onto Triple H, which I watched again earlier in prep for this. It wasn't like the cleanest, but he looked like he was absolutely shitting himself. But what a moment as well. I was a big fan of RVD and High Flyer as a kid, and that one for me, yeah, I was all for it. So between Goldberg, Rob Van Dam, they've got my heart.
See, for that one though, as much as Goldberg dominated, he fucking lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He
did.
fought, and
He
that
fucking lost.
yeah, and that comes to like one of my worst ones was when Reigns won. I think it was 2018, 2019 when Strowman,
2018.
yeah, when Strowman eliminated everyone. You just knew that Reigns was going to win that. But yeah, those are good moments. I struggle with the match for for this to actually enjoy the match. It's more about moments, but
I preferred the match when it was broke out as a way to end the big rivalry, as
Yeah.
opposed to being a match that's thrown around once a year.
there's like two for me in terms of matches that stand out. One, just because the time period of getting into wrestling was 2006 at New Year's Revolution with I can't remember the six, but Cena won it when he was all bloody. It was like I remember Carlito and Chris Masters were in it. I can't even remember who the other guys were, but that's obviously when Edge cashed in after that chamber
That's
match.
actually one of the moments I wrote down for me.
Yeah, so
I
I
loved
mean,
it because it was the forced cash in.
yeah, first cat. It's a bit of a cheap one because it wasn't in the chamber match. Because I'm sort of thinking that. But I mean, for me, in terms of a chamber match, you cannot beat Edge winning the World Heavyweight Championship, coming in, knocking out Kofi Kingston in his entrance. He just lost the WWE Championship in the earlier Elimination Chamber. It was just iconic that. And then
You
the
took
elimination
my one there.
Oh, sorry, I'm just stealing all your ones.
You're taking all.
Sorry, no, but the moment you know how the champion gets eliminated, gets code breaker and 619 into a spear, and the look of Edge's face is just like, well, I've got a chance of winning this now. And it's just the iconic last two of Edge and Mysterio. I mean, in terms of a match, that's it. And I'm sorry, lads, for taking your two picks, but that was like the standout for me.
I'm glad you did take the two picks. Just quickly, because I think that backs my point up. If Aaron has mentioned something that is stolen your picks, does that not just suggest that this is a big kind of blow off match sort of thing? But is it that good? I'm gonna leave it there.
As what Aaron said, it's about moments. It's like you can't really remember an Elimination Chamber match that was unbelievable. I'd say probably personally my favorite one was 2017. I'd say 2017 is my favorite. I didn't like the outcome, but I get why
So-
everybody loved that outcome in 2017. But I'd say probably 2017 be up there with like one of my favorite matches. I remember that.
Was that Bray
quite
Wyatt?
frankly.
Yeah.
Was that Bray
Bray
Wyatt?
Wyatt,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Because that was one of
Yeah.
my moments I had down as well for Bray Wyatt. Because obviously with Bray Wyatt, I mean, obviously he was, you know, the fans wanted him to have the championship, and as I say, that chamber match gave us that moment. And like as I say, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. As I say, it was a hell of a moment to have, and to have literally the whole world in his hands.
Yeah.
One of my all-time
that was
favorite
brilliant.
moments for the chamber was the first chamber, 2002, and it was the culmination of Shawn Michaels' comeback story. And we all had doubts he was going to win, but he won it. Won the world title, came back from in a career-ending back injury that he sustained in 97, 98. And the match itself was brilliant. It was about 45 odd minutes, but it had a bit of everything. It had high flyers, it had a Psycho Kane, it had everything. It was a really good book match.
Yeah.
And we got the payoff we wanted, which was Shawn Michaels bloody back there standing tall with the world title that he definitely deserved after the run he had with Triple H that year.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I think in terms of like the other one I wrote down in terms of like a sort of subtle moment was, I think it was either 2004, 2005, correct me, it might be 2005, when it was like the start of the Batista face turn feud with Triple H, where he got knocked out by Randy Orton, and Triple H could have saved him, but he didn't save him, and then Randy Orton pinned Batista. And that was the start, planting the seeds of that feud. And to be honest, that's not something watching live. That's from watching retrospects on that feud and watching videos and watching through that whole feud. But you realise, oh, that's actually a really cool, subtle moment to like turn. It was just something small that I picked out. I don't know how good that match really was, to be fair.
Yeah.
Another one I picked.
Oh, go on, I'm gonna go, Tony. What are you gonna say?
But I don't think anyone's going to have this, but I picked it for two reasons. Three reasons. One, because it was the fourth of its kind. It was the 2015 Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. It was the first tag team Elimination Chamber. And it was also, I believe, the last match Tyson Kidd had before he was injured and had to retire.
Are you sure?
Because
Was he
technically,
not at that year's WrestleMania?
technically the last match he had, he was dropped on his neck. And
No, but was he not at the pre-show of WrestleMania that year? Tyson Kidd.
I'm not sure. I know 2015 is when he got the injury. I just assumed it was.
Yeah. I remember. I know what you're talking about. I remember they did win Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, but then I remember they were the tag champions going into WrestleMania, but it was like a pre-show match. It was literally like just a throwaway, and then they retained because they weren't the bad tag team. I actually remember that. But I think it was after WrestleMania, near enough after WrestleMania, the whole Samoa Joe incident and stuff, and then the career ended injury. But
It was
I'm
also
so
during the run of the New Day being the now second longest reigning tag team champions, because the Usos have that title of longest reigning tag champions now.
Do you know what, Tony? When you mentioned Shawn Michaels, my heart dropped because I thought I would have been sit here with no moments to talk about, and I just would have had to think on the spot. And I'm glad you didn't mention this, because this is actually my favorite Elimination Chamber moment. Was when he came out of under the Elimination Chamber and cost the Undertaker the World Heavyweight
Trying to get his
Championship.
rematch.
That set up
Trying to
then
get his
that match
rematch
for
at Mania.
WrestleMania. Because not only that, that was a build from when he lost against the Undertaker the year before, and then he came back with DX, and then they had a feud with Legacy, and then became the World Tag Team Champions and stuff with against Jericho, I think it was, if I'm correct. I think it was Jericho. And then they build upon he wants the Undertaker, and in a way, I know Edge came back. The way they were building that Royal Rumble that year was possibly Shawn Michaels winning and finally getting that match against the Undertaker. But when he lost, it was like a gut wrench feeling. Like, I was a kid and I was like gut for him. Like, I know Cena was in the match and Edge and stuff was returning, but I felt for Shawn Michaels as a kid, I was like, man, he's never going to get to the Undertaker. And he just went on a rampage, literally attacking everybody. And he ran out of ideas. So that moment, and not only that, nobody's ever did it before. We've seen, people go into the chamber and actually interfere like Logan and stuff like last year, but nobody has ever come out from under it unexpectedly like he did. And literally, I think it's one of the most famous Sweet Chin music. It's because it literally, that Sweet Chin music kind of ended his career. In a way, the way they built it, it ended his career. But the build for that second match that year's WrestleMania,
and it gave us probably two of the best matches of all time in Mania history.
It still didn't give us the best Shawn Michaels moment in a chamber, and that does go back to Tony. I can't believe you mentioned that first match and the title win without mentioning what the fuck he was wearing. Those
the brown trunks,
famous
the brown
trousers. Yeah, sorry, I just had to throw that one in. That was actually my worst chamber moment. Shawn Michaels attire.
I was hoping to get away without that being mentioned because we don't judge people on their attire.
Just as well.
We did get Rollins to be hated.
Nice.
Yeah. What is everyone's worst like moment? Like if you go, oh, I hate that.
What, in the chamber or just in general?
Cringy. The chamber or just in general?
No, just in general, like probably in the match. Something that you looked at in the match and went, oh, I hate that.
I mean, that's an easy one for me. I'll kick us off and take the low-hanging fruit. The death of ECW. I mean, the one that nobody's going to be talking about here is December to Dismember for multiple reasons. I don't really want to remember. It's been done to death. We don't really need to speak about it anymore. And I think I saw a clip that summed it all up, where you can hear Paul Heyman actually shrieking as Big Show and Lashley are going at it just at the end before the final cover, to the point where you kind of know that is ultimately just he's shouting no because he knows they've fucked up and he's about to lose his job, and what a disaster. That's the worst, not just moment, it's the worst match. For sure.
Well, I mean, it's hard to argue with that in terms of like a chamber match, in terms of being bad. I mean, to be honest, mine's a bit controversial in terms of like that it annoys me, but just from a realism point of view, see like big spots, especially like chamber matches. I'm thinking of like John Morrison when he did that shooting star pain, whatever he called that finisher. It's really impressive. It's very impressive, but he's there for ages. He's looking down and everybody's like, ready to catch you, John, ready to catch you. So they're still standing there, and even though it's impressive, it's a bit like, this is a bit rubbish, because this is like how we're mainstream people would be like, oh, wrestling is fake. It's just like, do you know what I mean? It's just a bit too choreographed for me. Like the big spots like that, I'm just not a fan of it.
I think the thing that made me cringe most is wrestling, man. I have a few of them, but the one that stands out was watching Jeff Hardy try and do a whisper in the wind, half cutting out his head.
Is that not every week?
It was just hard to watch. Back then, it would have been. It was hard to watch, but it was hard to watch because you grew up watching them do it so well, and then watching them go through the addiction phase, watching them try to do it, and his 05 TNA run was cringy altogether. Now that we bring that up.
That was my thing about like high spot, especially in chamber matches. I just think it's too obviously choreographed.
I think another one for me as well. I think every wrestling fan would be in unison with this one, and we cringe away every time it's brought up. The fucking Katie Vick storyline.
Stop.
Even Jamie.
Do you know what? Actually, I think
it's like that Simpsons meme. No.
This is very recently. Actually, I think like the kind of worst moment for me is actually the match. It's a particular year, and that's the 2022 Elimination Chamber in Saudi. I just thought the way they did it, it was so obvious that Brock was going to win it. But the match was fucking abysmal. It was abysmal. I could barely watch it. I remember actually, because it was in Saudi, it was an afternoon show, and it was on, was that Friday? I think it might have been a Friday, actually, if I can remember. And it was literally the last match, and I was like, all right, looking forward to it. Hopefully it'd be a good match and stuff and all. And then like when I saw that it was Theory and Brock at the end, I just hated it. I really hated it. Normally, sometimes when it comes to the last two, it was like a Royal Rumble, the last two of the chamber, you get excited and you go, oh, this person could beat them. And so, but when I saw it was Brock and Austin Theory, I was just like, oh, I couldn't wait to just the thing to end the whole pay-per-view. I was just like, man, it's so obvious. And then he won the belt off Bobby Lashley, which, by the way, Bobby Lashley didn't even have the belt that long. He only had it for about, I think it was 2 weeks, and lost it again to Brock. Like, I get they were building up with him and Roman that year's Mania, but I hated that entire match. So, anything else, Rob? Have you got any moments on?
Until you mentioned that, I forgot that we had Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I was like, Elimination Chamber. What's that? No, as I say, my favorite moment was like the Bray Wyatt one, but it's like for me, for like even like for what a worst moment would have been, type of thing. It's really hard to sort of to narrow what could be a worst moment. But as I say, because I was a big John Cena fan, and obviously whenever Edge cashed in, on John Cena, at the Elimination Chamber, that would have probably been a big one for me in a sense. The fact it was like, okay, yes, I like Edge as well, but I was like, oh, come on, stop taking it off Cena. And that was it.
Yeah,
but that would have probably been the worst win I've had probably for a while. And that, but big Cena fan. But
anyone else got a cringy moment, or have we gotten the gist of everyone's cringy moments?
I think, yeah, to me that's really it. I hate that match. Just hate it.
Well, then I would like to thank our very special guests, Aaron and Mark, for coming on. I'd like to thank Rob, as always, for joining us every week, and he's gotten his reward. He's now a host with us here at Weekly Controversies. You can find Weekly Controversies on Instagram by searching up Weekly Controversies. You can find us on YouTube under the FiveMarks YouTube. We're here every Friday, 6 p.m. GMT. I have been Tony. He has been Jail.
And come on, Rhea Ripley.
This has been Weekly Controversies. And after that last time, we're probably getting cancelled. So thank you for making it A.
Tony, it's been a good run.
Thank you for getting us to A. Hope we will see you next week for 9. But until then, this is Tony and Jayo and the lads signing off.
See you later.